What's up everyone, Toshi here. I will be skipping the Honkai Star Rail newbie banner. And I came to this conclusion because I took a couple things into consideration, and I actually did see this one comment on one of my videos. I wish I could find it again, but someone was mentioning that to re-roll in this game effectively, you can actually do it on multiple devices. So, we actually already have the pre-registration for Honkai Star Rail, and I mentioned that in the last video, but okay. I was gonna show my I can't do that. I mean, you can't see my okay. So like I have one phone here, right? This is my phone that I will be using to reroll in this one, and then I will reroll on my computer as well. So I will effectively have two devices going on at once. And I actually do have another phone, so I can reroll on 3 different devices at the same time. The very cool thing about Honkai Star Rail that a lot of people do not realize is that this game is actually turn-based. So unlike Genshin Impact, you have to constantly play the game over and over and over again, and you have to move around because, you know, most of the game is you just actually moving. If you played other games that are turn-based, you know the tutorial is mostly like, and this usually works for 2D games easily, everything is static. So you usually... Sorry, someone was like mowing the grass outside. So you usually have like 6 different accounts going on at once, and you have it on your same computer. I don't know, not all of you are in computer, of course, so if you don't have a computer, this wouldn't apply to you. But maybe if you have like a PlayStation, the game's on PlayStation, then you can do this, but that's a whole different thing. But what I'm trying to say is that because of this game having a lot of dialogue, all you really have to do is just constantly click it to skip the dialogue, and then you'll be able to get to a certain point where you're able to do roles in the game. Now, you have to walk very short distances in the game in the beginning of the tutorial. It's nothing too drastic though, so I would say for reference, you'd probably have to run like from where Clara is standing right now. Like, okay, if I go over there, they're going to target aggro. All the way to down, like, to this last pole here is kind of like where you would have to run to get to the next sequence before you end the tutorial. It'd be little short distances like that. Where like in Genshin Impact, you would have to run from all the way, you know, in the beginning of the map, you know, where you first start off, all the way to where you go to Mondstadt, and then you actually go to the headquarters of Favonius, right? And that's a very long distance to go when it comes to re-rolling, so it'll take longer in that game. But since there is a lot of dialogue and you do run short distances, you would honestly spend less time if you have multiple devices running at once, because you can effectively do it all at the same time. And now back to the banners. The very first reason why I'm actually skipping the newbie banner, and I can't show it on the screen, so I'll probably have like a little overlay in the video. I'm skipping the newbie banner because there isn't really any reason for me to summon on it. I can actually get more value by getting the character I want on this banner and potentially something else in that 10 pool, and have pity going towards the actual 5-star character that I can select myself. And I think that's something that a lot of people should take into consideration. It's going to be really hard to actually hit this, and a lot of you have been mentioning in the comment sections of various videos that it's taken you 1.5 years to hit 300 pools in Genshin Impact for the standard banner. And that's kind of in line with what I was saying. You know, it'd probably take 1.5 years to 2 years, depending on, you know, how casual you are versus how much you play consistently, to actually hit the 300 pity on the character selector, right? And for a lot of people, if you do skip the actual newbie banner and you take your 50 summons that you would put into that banner and instead put it to the Stellar Warp, you would actually be able to get, not only would you have something at 75 pools, so you only really come out of like maybe 20-30 pools, you know, you would have had added 50 pity to your selector that you can choose the character you want to get on your account. I think that's something to take into consideration, and not something that I didn't think about this all the way through. I think the newbie banner is, I'm gonna go as far as to say the newbie banner is a trap. It is a trap, and I don't even recommend summoning on it, because I realized it takes literally like 20 or 30 more pulls to reach pity. So we went over the pity before in the gacha guide. I will probably have the gacha guide video in the description. You can check the video out for yourself. We break down all the gacha on Honkai Star Rail. If you actually do take a look here, the pity is, for anyone that doesn't already know this, I probably said a bazillion trillion times, the actual hard pity for characters on this banner and weapons too. We can't see it because it's not showing as far as I know. Where is the freaking pity? Here we go. Every 90 warps guarantees a 5-star character or light cone. That is guaranteed. Now, here's the thing. Most people are not going to hit 90 pulls on the banner before they get their character or light cone. Most people are going to hit around 80 pulls before they actually get their first 5-star. And that is on average. Some will probably get it around 76, 77, 78, 75 even. It depends on how lucky you are. And so, to take that into consideration, there is no actual soft pity on the newbie banner. So effectively, you would have to put a full 50 summons in if you don't get the character early, which most people won't, right? Believe it or not, most people won't get it early. So you're going to have to put a 50 summons into that banner to get your first 5-star character. And then those 50 pulls do not count towards the 5-star selector, in which you would choose the character you would want for your actual account. So in my mind, I think it's going to be more beneficial to actually go ahead and start your rerolled account on the standard banner and pull a character on this banner. And then you would have pity already built up to get the character you would want on this banner. Or if you're like me, what you would do is you would get Bronya on this banner and then have pity built up to maybe get more constellations for the character. I think some of Bronya's constellations, they call it Eidolons in this game, they're really valuable. They add a lot of actual value to the character's kit and allows you to do more with the character. I think Bronya is a really good support that's future-proof, meaning you'll probably never really have to kick her out of your team because of how much value she has overall. And then there is some other characters too, like Bailu is a really solid healer. A lot of people have been saying she's amazing. I haven't really had the chance to play with her, but I heard that she's amazing, so there's that. And then Yangqing, you know, he's pretty popular on Reddit. I mean, I'm on Reddit a lot. And then Clara, I've been playing for her a lot. I think she's going to be a very, very, very good character in a lot of comps that revolves around you just AFKing, not even have to play the game. You can put her in your team, have her with a healer, have her with a shooter, and just literally press the autobot. You literally don't have to play the game. She's very good in a team like that. And you have Jeopard, who would be also good as a tank frontliner. You could honestly put him with Clara. I think these two pair really, really good together. And then, well, as a very solid debuffer and DPS, he has pretty good damage alongside having debuffs to slow the enemy. I think Walt will be pretty good in a lot of, like, honestly, a lot of comps where you're kind of just turn cycling a lot. So you probably have him with an Asta, you reduce the speed of the enemy, and then you have him with Asta, and Asta boost the team of your speed. So then pretty much effectively you have double the speed of the enemy, and the enemy has like less than half the speed of yours. So you constantly lap the enemy over and over again, getting a lot of turns. And then Himiko, I really haven't played with her much, but you know, we played with her in the last video. She's a very solid AoE damage dealer. You put her with Herta and you just literally obliterate all of the enemies. I never really see her being unvaluable because of the actual AoE damage. I think any AoE damage dealer is always going to have a lot of value on your account when you play the game. And then I said Bronya before, but you know, let's be honest. We know how broken she is, but the only reason why I want to go for her because she is Bobby. So yeah, that's kind of where my actual thought process is. That's where my thought process is sitting right now. I really do believe there is a lot more value, and I think for free-to-play players, okay, you are better off actually putting your stellar jades, or not stellar jades, your Star Rail passes into this banner instead of putting it into the new banner, because 50 summons to get a 5-star character is not really that far off from, let's say, 80 pulls to get a character, and then have 50 more pulls added to your actual 5-star selector. So it would take you effectively even less time than 1.5 years to get your first 5-star from the selector that you can choose for your account. I think there's a lot of value in that to be had, and I think this is a better way of saying you should probably re-roll than the last video, in my opinion. And there is the light cones here on that banner, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, if you get a light cone, then effectively you would have wasted, you know, time re-rolling and this and that. But like I always say this all the time, right? If you don't have the time to re-roll, just don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, if you have the time, you should do it, right? Because if you are free to play, this will be a long-term investment on your account. But if you don't have the time to do it, you just have time to hop into the game. Maybe, you know, you're short in time each day and you have like maybe 1 to 2 hours to play. Then don't re-roll, right? Don't re-roll, just play the game, choose what you get and enjoy yourself, right? I always value the enjoyment of a game. And for me, and maybe a lot of other people, maybe you relate to this, I get enjoyment by having my favorite character in any game. So for me, that's going to be getting Bronya and maybe Welt in the process, and having those two characters on my account is going to bring me the most joy, because I genuinely find enjoyment playing with my favorite characters in any game I ever play, gacha especially. And so it's going to wrap up the video. I hope you all got something out of this. I really do believe going forward, you know, especially when we do hit launch, there will be possibly some more rewards added to the actual our accounts when we hit the game. We are close to pre-reg, like I said in the last video, so I don't have to repeat it again, but there should hopefully be more pre-registration rewards. Fingers crossed, maybe we hit 10 million before the game launches. We have 2 months to go. I'm just letting you all know that I do stream on Twitch. The link will be in the description, and I stream pretty much every day. Peace.